Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday morning. It's Monday again. Beautiful day out today. It is like cool and crisp. It's kind of like a fall morning, which I know it's like it just turned summer, so I shouldn't even be thinking about fall, but it is so nice out this morning. So just beautiful. It's great. Like it would have been great if we like were camping last night or something. You know, or I would have slept like a log because it's just so nice and cool, and especially after the hot spell last week. You know, this is really nice. I'm not sure why I always start out with the weather, but it's the farmer in me because I'm always checking the weather. My Bible study friends kind of laugh at me because I always know, hey, there's a storm coming or whatever, and they're like, didn't even know, but like, yeah, you must need to look at the weather a lot. Well, yeah, I do. See if I need to water or if rain's coming or whatever. My bucket. So what's happening on the homestead? Had our second CSA pickup on Wednesday last week, and that went really well. They got what did they get? Mixed greens. It was just like salad greens and spinach and radishes. We have such beautiful radishes. They're like big red, like perfect globe radishes. Oh my gosh. And not like woody when they're that big either. They're really good. And then they got baby carrots. Because I had to thin my carrots and I ended up with all these little, baby ones. And I thought, that's fun. The kids will have fun with that there. And they did. They really liked those. What else? Thyme. My mom has a humongous patch of the herb thyme. And so I picked a ton of that for them. And garlic chives. What else I gave them? Okay, I think that was it for vegetables. Because I didn't really have a lot. It's kind of been the weirdest spring for growing. They've talked about that multiple times. And I'm going to get you closer. Maybe that there light will be better. It's been just a really weird year for growing. So I don't have the amount that I thought I would. Just things are kind of behind. But we're getting caught up. So they also got a loaf of bread. I made bread that day, homemade bread, fresh ground grain, all that good stuff. So they enjoyed that little treat and honey. So yeah, I'm hopeful that soon my CSA boxes will be full, mainly with vegetables because I've had to kind of supplement. Last time it was eggs. But like my cucumbers, we picked our first cucumber this weekend. It was so good, and those are coming on hot, and my tomatoes are just absolutely plumb full. I mean, I have big tomatoes on there. They just need to get red. Just tons and tons. So I know that and I've got zucchini starting, and you know how zucchini is. It starts, and then it's just like your zucchini coming out your ears. So I know we're going to hit that time where all of a sudden I'm going to be like, I have so much, I have more than I need for these boxes. But we're just not there yet, and it's a little like concerning for me. I don't like to disappoint, and so I want to make sure I give people enough stuff. So that's one kind of difficult thing. It's part of the agreement with CSA. You have to just realize that sometimes weather doesn't work in your favor, and when you buy into a CSA, that's just one of the things. Like, hey, I realize that, and so I shouldn't feel guilty, but I still do because that's just how I am. But like I said, soon those boxes should be full, and even I bet I'll have stuff to finally put in the farm stand to sell vegetables as well, and stuff for our family because I feel like I've been not eating my own produce because I'm worried that I need it for the CSA. So that's a struggle too. But again, this is my learning year for having a CSA. So next year, there's already things on my list of things I will do differently, and that's good, right? So that's what life is all about learning. But I am excited that I clearly have a bunch of stuff going to be ready soon. A bunch of produce. Strawberries, we do have a smallish patch, only small because last year we put a new patch in and then some of it didn't make it through the winter. And so it's not really the strongest strawberry patch, but we're getting good amounts for our family. That's something we are eating. We are not giving that away because we don't have a ton. And so we had like strawberry shortcake on Saturday, and it was so good. And I think tomorrow we go to my parents every Tuesday for dinner. My grandma gives our oldest son piano lessons. So, and then we do that, and then we go to my parents for dinner every Tuesday. Anyways, I think I'll bring them some strawberry shortcake too. So we are enjoying some yummy harvest from our homestead, which is what I love so much. I look forward every year to this, right? This is like what it's all about, getting to eat right out of the garden. And that's what I do when I'm weeding. I'm like, weeding the heaps, and some pull out, or I can thin them, and I just sit there and eat them because they're so good. Eat the greens. Today I thought about talking about family cows, and because every once in a while I get someone asking me questions. They're interested in getting a family cow, and in my area, in my friend circle, in my family, I'm the lady. I'm the family cow lady, because it's just not something that many people do. So if you know someone that has a family cow, like that would be the person you'd go to if you're interested in getting a family cow. Like I said, not a lot of people have them, so I'm always the lady they go to, which is great. I don't mind helping at all. Like, I would love to give advice and stuff. And this morning I had someone reach out to me again, a friend of mine, and I was super excited to hear that they're considering it. And there are people that I would probably, I'd be honest and say, I don't know if this is the best thing for you, because it is a lot of work, and I wouldn't just tell anyone, or I wouldn't tell everyone that you can do it, you can have a family cow, because I don't think that's true. Not fair for your family or for the cow, if you don't have the time to commit to it and realize how much of a commitment it really is. But frankly, I don't think I've ever had to tell anyone that. Because everyone that's asked are people that are kind of in the same boat. They're building their homestead. They're building up this lifestyle. And eventually you get to the step where, hey, do I want a dairy animal, be it goats or be it cows? I'm not sure if I've ever admitted on this channel, but we are not a goat homestead. We never will be a goat homestead. Kids come over, and we have people that come over, bring their kids, and they want to see the animals, and I was like, where's the goats? Sorry, this is not the place to find goats. We do not like goats. Not our animal of choice. For multiple reasons. Just not goat people. It's okay. I'll stop here and get apples some green. I'll get back to that. So what do you consider, take into consideration when you want a family cow? So for one, I shouldn't say the biggest because there's a lot of big things, but one of the biggest things is time. It takes a dedication of time. It's not one of those like, oh, I don't feel like it today, I don't have to. No, it's that you have to milk your cow. Like, you have to, otherwise you're going to end up with mastitis and a very unhappy cow and lots of issues. So the biggest thing is time. If you do not think that you can get up every morning and milk that cow, or every afternoon, evening, night, whatever works for you, or both, realistically, not like fantasy world, oh, it's so nice to get up early with the sun and go out and have my milk bucket and milk my cow while the birds are chirping and then it turns winter and it's -30 outside and you have to bundle up and you have to get your butt outside and you have to milk while your teeth are chattering and your eyes are frozen shut and your milk is freezing while it's going into your bucket, and your hands are frozen, and you can't feel your toes, and that's super fun. But you know what? The cow still needs to be milked then. Or the days where you've been up late for various reasons, and that alarm goes off, and you're like, no, I just want to sleep in. Well, sorry, the cow needs to be milked. Or, I'm a morning milker, so I'll give morning milking examples. The reason we're not nighttime milkers is because that's usually when my kids would have, if they're in an activity, in a sport, in whatever, it's practice at night. So it's just easier for me to, how should I say, my mornings are more consistent than my nights. My evenings and nights are what would be changing day to day, and so that's why mornings work good for me. So you have to look at that too, like, okay, am I busy, so busy, that we're running all the time, and now I have to fit in this commitment every single day, once or twice a day. That is a huge consideration, because it's not just the milking. Okay, so it takes me 20-ish minutes, well, 20, 30 minutes, I guess. I talk on here, so it takes me a little longer, but total, let's say 30 minutes to milk her. But I also have to go inside, and then I strain it, and then I have to put it in the freezer for an hour. So you're looking at a good 2-hour commitment before I can leave my house. From when I start, I also do chores in there, so, from when I start to when I am done with the milking process, you got 2 hours there. And some people would say, well, what if I have a milking machine? That would make it so much faster. Yeah, you could probably milk your cow in 5 minutes, but then you have to wash that whole machine. And that can take good 30, 40 minutes to wash the whole machine. That's one of the reasons that I don't have one, because sure, it would save me time on this end, but then I also have to make sure that it's super issue with milking machines. I have nothing against them, and someday I know I will have one, is that if you don't get them perfectly clean, that's where bacteria can come in to play and ruin your milk, or, God forbid, make you really sick. So, time is huge. It's a huge commitment. In fact, my husband did not have faith in me when we first got our family cow. I had to really talk him into it. He's like, you're going to do this for a few months and be like, well, that's enough of that racket, I'm tired of it. Well, I'm kind of a determined soul, and I was like, I'm going to prove you wrong. And I'm glad I did, because if I hadn't had that in my head, which maybe that's wrong, I don't know, but I was determined that I would make this work, because I didn't want to be wrong. So, what does that say about me? But anyway, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad oh goodness. Hold on, there's a horse in here. He's just doing his job. He knows that the horses aren't allowed in here. Zip! Get! It's annoying, but he knows. That's his job. Okay. So that's the biggest thing. I'm so glad that I did that, because it got me over the hump of, because there is a moment where you realize, like, what was I thinking? This is so much work. Not only the actual milking and all that, it's then, it doesn't take long for you to open up your refrigerator and you're like, oh my gosh, there's 10 gallons of milk in here. Oh my gosh, what do I do with it? Then you have to do something with that milk, be it make something out of it, or feed it to your pigs, or what a time commitment. Big consideration when getting a cow. Financial. So for us, I think you guys have figured it out by now. We are not exactly a wealthy family. We are a one-income household that gets by because of my frugality and doing stuff, growing things and harvesting, things from our homestead. So for us to spend money on a cow is a big deal. It well worth it in the end, but our first cow we spent money on, and we ended up having to ship her a couple weeks later, or a couple months later, and so we lost. We lost a little bit because we had vet bills and stuff like that in there. But that's the thing, it's not just the cow. It's the vet bills that are inevitably going to happen. You're going to have a vet bill. Especially if you AI your cow, or you have AI bills. You're going to have grain, or hay. You have to feed that animal. A lot of people are like, oh, I'll get a cow and then I'll just have them, pasture raised, which is excellent. That's awesome if you can have a cow that can maintain her body, maintain her size, or keep weight on while milking, while only having grass. Because yes, I know that's like how cows should be. That's in the natural state, but they bred that out of them. Especially if you get one from a dairy. They've been bred in like a commercial dairy, and different breeds. Like a Holstein. You cannot expect a Holstein to only eat grass and hay and still be healthy. You just can't. They need more. Otherwise, you're starving your animal. So you figure out that, and the cost of feed is just skyrocketing right now. Then you have to figure out the cost of your containers for storing your milk. These jars are, if you can find them, I think they're like $13 for 6 of them. That ballpark. And then you have to get a milking bucket. You have to get iodine. You have to get lotion, or something like that. You have to get something for milking stool. This is just hand milking. Like if you need a milker, you're looking at the $1,500, $2,000. Do not get cheap China ones from Amazon, because you'll just ruin your cow and waste your money. So there's a money commitment there, and then there's also a space commitment. Now this is something that maybe isn't the biggest. Like if you can handle the other ones, if you can get the time figured out, if you can have the financial part figured out, then the space thing, as long as your cow is not going to live in like a 10 by 12 box stall or something, it can be worked around. So if you don't have a ton of space where the cow can be on pasture or whatever, but you have a small area, I don't even know what the actual number would be that you would need. Your cow does not have to be on pasture, if you have access to hay. Is it ideal? Yeah. Lincoln, stop. It is totally ideal, but that's something that's your personal preference, and that's your what you value, I guess. So that's maybe one of the lesser considerations. And then there's just a lot of learning that comes along. You have to learn about, Lincoln, leave him alone. He's playing with the bulb. And they're right here, and I'm not going to my camera. Go on, go. Lincoln, leave him alone. Anyone want a puppy? Lincoln, go on. No. Go on. So there's just a lot to learn, always. You go to milk, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that doesn't look right. And then you have to figure out what's going on. And yeah. So those are the things that I would definitely take into consideration first. Like, I could probably talk for an hour about all the stuff that you need to think about if you're going to have a family cow. But let's just start with those three. Those would be the three biggest ones. So your time. I didn't mention that we also believe in the calf sharing model, so that helps me with the time thing. So I'm not like absolutely married to the farm. So we calf share for months, so that if for some reason I can't, like let's say for instance deer hunting week, I spend the time away from home, and I can't be up. To get up early enough to go hunting, I can't get up even earlier to milk. So I have the calf on the cow during that time, and the calf just takes care of it. And so that is one thing that we do. And then we always transition the cow to once a day milking. So I do not milk twice a day, except for the first few weeks when she actually really, when she is really full and needs that relief, and when the calf can't handle it. But after that, I'm once a day milking, because that is what works for my family. Not all cows are going to be able to handle that too. And you also need to research breeds. That's another thing. Part of the learning thing, you got to research what cow you want, what kind of cow, what cow would fit in your family's needs. But yeah, so the time commitment, the financial commitment, and the research, learning, yes, being willing to learn, willing to take advice, willing to realize that you're going to have mistakes, and there's some things you're going to learn the hard way, and there's going to be tears. I've cried over this cow so much, and over my past cow, even the cow that I fostered. I've cried. Maybe I'm just a crier, but there's a lot of emotional investment as well. I love this cow. Like, she is the queen of the homestead. We absolutely love her. She's amazing. I could not ask for a better cow. Like, honestly, she's the best. But we've had trials and errors to get to this point, and so it's not all easy. If you've heard, like, the road to get her bred and to have the calf take, or keep the calf, is not an easy one. So it's not that she's easy by any means, but she's pretty good. So I love having a family cow, and I would encourage anyone who really can dedicate the time to a family cow and really are motivated by the right reasons to get a family cow, not just because it's popular. Because you know what, the cow is still going to need to be milked after it's not so popular, or you could care less that it's popular and you just want to sleep, or you just want your refrigerator back. That cow still needs to be milked. So that is one I feel has gained, where people are like, oh, so-and-so has a cow, let's get the cow. And there's nothing wrong with that, because you see, or I shouldn't say what should I say about that? That's normal, to see someone like have something, you're like, ooh, I'm interested in that now. But you need to step back, especially when it comes to a life. Like, this is not something that you can just say, never mind, that just wasn't for me. I mean, you could, and then you'd have to sell it, and that's just stressful to the animal, all the moving and new places and stuff. So it's just something that really deep down need to consider, is it the best for my family at this stage in our life? Because sometimes maybe it's not. Maybe right now you have lots of little ones, and you're not sleeping as it is, and you can't imagine, having to take care of thousands. You don't get that much milk, gallons of milk. And adding something else into your day. Maybe this isn't the time right now, but maybe it's the time to do the research and learn more, and learn about AI and mastitis and feeding your cow correctly and calving, and the boluses and the CMPK and the calcium and all this stuff that you need to know if you're going to calve at your homestead, and learn all that now. And then when the kids get bigger, or when life situations change, you're ready, and you've done that part, and now you can actually look into finding the cow that is for you. So yeah, and by the way, you don't need to actually have ever had raw milk to get a cow. Just ask me. First glass of raw milk I ever drank was from my own cow. That was kind of crazy. I don't know that I'd recommend that. Okay. I've got a mess of my hair. It's just so weird for me. Anyway. So I hope that was helpful to anyone that might be considering a cow. If there's more that like I said, I could keep talking, because she's kind of my passion here. I really love her kitty cow. And I really love having a family cow, more than I ever thought that I would, really, truly. And so if you want more, if you want me to talk more about this, just let me know in the comments, or if you want a dedicated video about that, always do that as well. So I hope that this is encouraging to someone to just flick me with their tail, meaning stop talking, I'm ready to go. So she's done. And I need to go get this mug taken care of and add it to the gallons that are in the refrigerator. Alright, I will talk to you later. Have a great, blessed week. Bye now.